You're watching CTOM TV. Knowledge is power.
Okay, so now from Victor. My father had colon cancer in his early 50s, and now I have to get a very uncomfortable and invasive colonoscopy every few years. Is there something that I could do instead? I also have lupus and was a smoker for many years. So there's some other health concerns, lupus and smoking, father with colon cancer in his early 50s. What else, aside from this colonoscopy or as well as a colonoscopy, could Victor do?
Well, that's a great question too. I think a colonoscopy, it's kind of a medieval process. It's it has a lot of dangerous side effects. A lot of people can get torn colons. The benefit of a colonoscopy is typically if they do go in there and they see any precancerous polyps, then they can cut them out right then and there. You don't have to come back for surgery. So that is one of the benefits for it. And it's nice to get an up-close view. But colonoscopies do miss cancers, and that's because you have different areas of your colon, and most colonoscopies don't go all the way up into your right colon too. They just look at the left colon, it depends on the actual test, of course, and the tools that are being used.
So there's different kinds of colonoscopy.
Yes, and there's many different tools, and the tools can go from microscopic to large old school tools built in the 70s.
So there's a potential that it's not going to cover the whole colon, that it's going to perforate the colon somehow.
Yes.
Right.
So you want to go to a center that has some of the latest colonoscopy equipment. They have fine little thin needles rather than some big bulky device. But more importantly, colonoscopy will not detect a tumor that is growing outside of the colon. So it could be on the outside surface of the colon or close by, and it's not going to be able to see that a lot of the time. So in that case, I would highly suggest getting PET CTs on a regular basis.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what a PET CT is and why would you recommend that over a colonoscopy for people who don't know?
What would you like to know about a PET CT, Michelle?
What is it?
So we did discuss PET CT last week in detail.
Right, but probably very few of you that are here this week were there last week. So why don't we assume they haven't heard a thing about PET CT and tell us what there is to know.
So a PET CT is positive electron tomography combined with a CT scan. And so what it does is you drink this radioactive sugar called FDG, and this radioactive sugar gets preferentially taken up by the cancer cells. So if there's a tumor growing and it's the same density as the surrounding tissue, you wouldn't normally see it on a CT scan or an MRI. But if it's drinking up a lot of this radioactive fluid, then you're going to see it much better. And then so once you've drunk this radioactive fluid and sat for an hour or two, then what they do is they give you a CT scan. And anywhere there's any activity, because cancer cells are constantly growing, they constantly have activity and they're constantly drinking up this radioactive solution. So any cancer cell or any tumor is going to glow like a Christmas tree light.
So it's going to be really obvious. In other words, where a colonoscopy, a standard colonoscopy, depending on the size of the instrument they're using, could miss something just because it's on the outside or it's not going up far enough or to the right side or all these things.
Correct. Yes.
It's not going to be missed with a PET CT.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So often the answer to these types of questions really is kind of back to you about how innovative do you want to be? How kind of leading edge in your own approach to your own wellness and cancer detection and cancer treatment that you want to be? What's offered in standard care right now for diagnostics is this colonoscopy that Alex is talking about. Again, there are different kinds apparently and different sizes of tools. PET CT obviously is the better instrument or the better technique for identifying most cancers, and yet it's not offered yet as part of standard care. So it's something that you would have to either petition your doctor for and cross your fingers, or you would have to pay for yourself. There are private PET CT clinics. This is where, again, it really comes down to how concerned are you, or how kind of ahead of cancer would you like to be?
I think a good way to decide whether you're with the right treatment team or not is to ask your doctor right up front how he feels about, or he or she feels about PET-CT. I think that's a very important question. And if they're not 100% for it, then it's time to get a new doctor. There are a lot of PET-CT friendly doctors out there, but there's also a lot of doctors that don't really understand the value of it. And if they don't understand the value of it, they're not going to be up on a lot of the latest technologies. So I would say that that would be a good guide. If you're not offered a PET-CT early up front, then probably time to ask for a new treatment team.
Alternatively, let me just say, one of the things that we do at Cancer Treatment Options and Management is we advocate for our clients. So if you are interested, for example, you thought you might have cancer and you wanted to get a PET-CT, that's something that we can do, is have a conversation with your doctor on your behalf and make sure they understand the science behind the PET-CT. We were talking last week, as you mentioned, about PET-CT and how in the United States there are about 4,000 or more, I can't remember the latest number, of these PET-CT machines. They're used as a diagnostic tool for cancer very frequently. In Canada, it's I think we have about 30, 35 we
Something like
agreed
that, yes.
upon around
We have
that.
a new one in
Kind
Victoria.
of hard to tell. Yes, there's so more and more they're being used, but still not as a standard diagnostic for cancer. They're used for other things like heart problems more commonly. So the point is, the technology is out there. The science, the evidence is there to show how valuable these things are. And it's important that you advocate for yourself or get someone to advocate for you so you get these things.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Cetome TV. Subscribe below and stay informed.